when I was a pawn, I did my job to the best of my ability. But let's change it. When I was a brokey, I knew I was a brokey. Trust me, I knew very well I was a brokey. My life reflected it, as did my bank balance. But I was uncomfortable in it to a position where I couldn't sleep at night. I had sleepless nights just laying there thinking, how the fuck are people buying Ferraris? I can't pay rent. This doesn't make sense. I have to escape. I can't live this way. If you're genuinely uncomfortable, if I set you on fire, you're going to stand up. You're going to move. If I set you on fire and you're chilling, then you can't say that the fire's burning. The people who are broke, and they have been broke for years and years and years, and they're still sleeping in late playing video games, are comfortable enough being broke to stay broke. I couldn't be comfortable in that position. If you put me in a shitty position, I'm so desperately uncomfortable. We can change it from money to something else. If I was morbidly obese, it wouldn't last long. I'm telling you now. With me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I'd be mad at myself. I'd be angry. I'd be self-conscious. I'd fix it. The person who's been morbidly obese for 10 years and goes, I'm trying. You ain't fucking trying. You are very comfortable and very happy to be who you are.
Facts.
So anybody who's a pawn is comfortable and happy being a pawn. Otherwise, they wouldn't be one anymore. They'd at least have moved up. So when I say it's determined by God, what I'm saying is that God is producing all of us. I believe God exists. We're all made in his image to a degree. And certain people have looked at their place in life and said, this is okay. This is enough for me to sleep at night. And if that's fine, you're going to sleep. But if you were like me, if you're looking at your bitch going, she's a 7, my car ain't shit, apartment's small, I know I'm better than this, I have to find a way to escape, then motivation and the whole idea of motivation it gets destroyed. People say, I don't have motivation. I never had motivation. I had a burning desire to fucking fix my life. I didn't need to wake up and I didn't have to watch YouTube to want to make some fucking money. I was like, I wanted money. Like, I didn't need YouTube to tell me, bro, you're broke. Like, so I don't think that anybody is destined to be a pawn. I think people decide to be pawns. And I'll give you an example of it. I can sit here right now as a multimillionaire, a person who has hundreds of millions of dollars. And I can say, if you go to CobraTake.com right now, you can sign up to a free newsletter, and I will email you every day for free lessons from a multimillionaire for free. All it's going to take is 13 seconds of your time to go to CobraTake.com and sign up to the email letter. And maybe 10% of the people watching will do it. And 90% will go, hey man, being broke sucks. Because they're fucking dumbasses. Well, that's their decision. I believe it's decisions. People who are broke decided to be broke. It really is not that difficult to make money out here. I really don't think it is.
What is the
Justin,
biggest?
What about you? One thing you can make money from this year? Somebody coming up.
Man, there's a million ways to make $1 million. I think you have to pick something, put your time in, get competent at it, stay in the fight long enough to make the fucking money. There's no one way to make $1 million. In regards to what Andrew's saying, especially about the guys that are superstars or they're not. Look at me, dude. I'm a multimillionaire too, but I got no problem. In fact, me and Andrew had a conversation about this maybe 6 months or a year ago. I'm like, Andrew, you can be Michael Jordan. I'll play Scottie Pippen.
Facts all day.
I'm trying to win fucking trophies, bro. And there's nothing better in this world than to do shit with your boys. So if you got somebody in your group that is Michael Jordan, let them be fucking Michael Jordan. I'm not insecure about that.
And when
you know
have,
what I'm saying?
And when you have a diverse group, when you have a group of true competent people, you'll realize that it changes role to role anyway. There are certain scenarios where it's X guy is the fucking G, and there's an X guy, he's the G. That's how it goes. When it comes to boozing, it's like, Tristan, bro, bro, you win. Like that's just the way it is. That's what happens when you're around genuine competence.
What's the biggest deciding factor, Andrew, that separates you from the 90%, the retards, the people who don't want it? Why do you make the decision to go and get it, but most people don't? What's the biggest? Is it the way you grew up? Is it the fighting? Is it being broke?
That's a good question. And that actually leads into my other question fantastically, which is amazing. I was raised for competence and I was raised for excellence. So to a degree, I can say that I'm lucky by the fact that I had such fantastic parents and that they told me from a very, very young age who I had to be and how I had to live. I hear a lot of things from people saying, if your father's too amazing and he can overshadow you and it makes the kid fail. I can't speak to that because I had the complete opposite experience. My father was my hero. I wanted to be exactly like him. And all I had to do was copy him and do as I was told. And I was going to be fantastic. I learned how to listen at a very young age. I learned how to obey my elders, do as I was told, eat my vegetables. My life has never truly fucked up. There's a lot of successful people who will tell you like, yeah, my life fucked up and then I recovered. I went to jail. I got out, all this shit. My life's never fucked up. My life has always been wake up, do the fucking work. That's all it's ever been. And if you wake up and do the fucking work every single day, I'm 36 years old. How can I not have hundreds of millions of dollars? All I've done is work. All I've done is get up and do what I'm supposed to do. All I've done is get up, eat right, train, work, answer the call, be on time. Like, how am I going to not have hundreds of millions of dollars? It's almost like I don't understand how you messed that up. It's because people are just lazy. So, but that feeds into my other question I want to ask all of you. How big of an impact do you think family has on a man? Because I think we're speaking majorly to men. And what advice would you give to men who love their family and they know their family love them, but their family are not living the lives they want to live? The advice they're giving is not the advice they want to follow. Like, do you have any stories or do you have any advice, or what kind of impact do you think a negative family environment can have on a man? And what should you do in a scenario when his parents truly love him and truly care for him, but they're telling him to like put on a mask and go to college? What do you think about
That was me.
We'll start.
Oh, so there you go. So we have an interesting story coming up.
My dad has recently been telling me, since I've been getting into the red pill and getting to these ideas and fully devoting myself to this message, that he agrees with a lot of what I say. And he's blue pilled. We can't talk about a lot of the things, but he did what 85% of the population did. Yeah. He went to college, told me to go to college, told all my siblings to go to college, but ultimately he did give up on his dream. His dream was to be a filmmaker, was to be a creative, and he decided to fully devote himself to his family. And for me, that gave me the opportunity to fully focus on what I wanted to do, because we came up in a good household.
Yeah.
He was there. He was a good inspiration. He was a good role model, just like your dad. Yeah. But I had to separate from a lot. I disappointed him in a lot of ways. Dropping out of school, dropping out of college, they didn't talk to me for a long time. Mm-hmm. Not taking what everybody else was taking, they were really upset with me. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat can relate. They ended up taking something that everybody else is saying, that you're a bad person, you're going to kill my grandma if you don't take this too. Yeah. So I think you just have to decide for yourself what's the best for yourself and make the sacrifice that you're going to upset your family eventually.
Okay. What about you, Walter?
So I had two examples in my life. Robert, because I guess it talks about rich dad, poor dad. So I have my real dad, which is basically deadbeat dad, but that's my dad. And I have my granddad. And growing up, I was supposed to follow the family blueprint, which is go to school, get a degree, take over the family business. But I saw my dad and I was like, damn, like he's pretty much just like living life, doing whatever he wants, but he's not responsible. But my granddad was like an anchor. He was like the one taking care of the family, took us on trips. He bought me a car, bought my mom a house. It's like, damn, he's the man of the household. So I had to make a choice. Who do I want to follow? My dad or my granddad? And I chose my granddad because for me personally, my dad would say, hey, son, I'll come pick you up. And he never would show up. My granddad would say, hey, son, I'll come pick you up. He'd always show up on time. So me personally is making a choice to say, you know what? Who do I want to be like more? My granddad or my dad? And I chose my granddad. So for me, it's just making a choice.
I think all of us have that voice in our head that tells us what we're supposed to be doing. If you know you're supposed to be great, that voice in you is going to tell you that. You can choose to listen to it, or you can choose to let the weaker voice inside of you suppress what you know you are meant to be. So as long as you listen to the voice that tells you that you're supposed to be great and you're supposed to be doing things that are bigger and better than what your family is doing, I think you're okay. Now you have to be strong enough to fight the suppression that's going to come towards you from your family. But once you decide to do that, everybody will say that it's dangerous until you've made it. Case in point, Sneeko. Your dad said, no. And then you built the following. And then he's like, okay, I see it. Same thing with my dad. My dad was always, son, don't you think that's enough? Don't you think that's enough? No. Now he's like, son, I've never seen anybody work as hard as you. And he truly respects me. So a lot of times people don't believe in you until you finally arrived. So I think that's something very important to remember. In addition to that, I always say that suppression is wrapped in love. So a lot of times if people are uncomfortable with the things that you're doing, just remember that you are directly intimidating them by the actions that you took in spite of their inactions. Mm-hmm. So just remember that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I get this all the time. People message me saying, hey, my family's not supportive of what I want to do. And my family don't believe I should try and do this, or my family thinks I should go down this route. And my answer has been pretty generic so far, but it seems to be effective. I think the number one thing that especially parents are worried about when they see their children is they don't like the idea of seeing them be lazy. So people message me, go, I don't want to go to college. My parents want me to go to college. I say, well, have you sat down with your parents and explained to them what you're going to do with all those years instead? Have you sat there and said, look, I'm not going to go to college, but here's what I am going to do. I'm going to spend 6 hours a day doing this, 2 hours a day doing this, 1 hour a day in the gym. Across next year, I'll be doing this apprenticeship. I'll get this certification. I'll be able to go here and do this. Then I'm going to get this passport. I'm going to go here. Or if you just said, I don't want to go to college and turn the TV back on. Well, then why do you think they want you to go to college, right? it doesn't matter what you do. I think if you're a child and you explain to your parents or all the people who love you or the people around you are trying to push you in a certain direction, to say, look, I have a plan. This is what it is. I have a finite amount of time on the planet. I'm going to dedicate it towards X. I'm going to make sure this is successful. I'm going to do it right. And you show competence and you show that you genuinely give a shit and you're up before them and go to sleep after them. They're not going to hate on anything you do. I think a lot of the people are saying, oh, my parents are trying to suppress me. No, what your parents are trying to do is inspire you to do something.